No file. No name anyone will speak. Good. That's exactly the kind of guard I need tonight.
The spire of Valeth rose out of the frozen sea like a blade of glass, its arches humming with pale blue light. Inside the Hall of Tides, Queen Isolde Thren stood before a floating star map, her silver eyes tracing the fractured borders of the outer colonies. Peace with the human coalition was close, closer than it had been in 11 years of war. But peace, she knew, made her more enemies than war ever had. That was why she had summoned the man now standing at the chamber's threshold. He was tall, plainly dressed in gray, his face unreadable. No medals, no rank insignia, just a scar along his jaw and eyes that scanned every exit before they settled on her. Kellen Voss, her seneschal announced. The name meant nothing to the court. It meant everything to the two cloaked figures watching from the gallery above. Isolde studied him. "You were recommended by no one," she said. "You appear in no registry. And yet 3 separate intelligence networks refuse to give me your file. Why is that, Mr. Voss?" "Because there isn't one anymore," Kellen said quietly. "I made sure of that." It was the kind of answer that should have worried her. Instead, it settled something in her chest, a certainty she couldn't explain. She had buried 2 guard captains in the last year alone, both killed by knives that left no trace. She needed someone the Assassin's Guild had never heard of.
She was wrong about that.
She just didn't know it yet. "You start tonight," she said. "Stand where you like. Speak when you must. Otherwise, be a shadow." He bowed once and took his post beside the obsidian doors. In the gallery above, the cloaked woman named Mira Sol gripped her companion's wrist, so hard he hissed. "Draven, look at his hands." Draven Kesh, once the guild's finest blade, looked. The way Kellen stood, weight balanced, palms loose, eyes never still, was a signature no training could fake. "That's not possible," Draven whispered. "The Reaper of Kesh Station died at Halvern. I watched the tower fall myself." "Then someone forgot to tell him," Mira said. For 3 weeks, Kellen Voss said almost nothing. He walked the perimeter of the spire at night, memorized the guards' rotations, learned the sound each door made when it opened a half-second too slow, a sign of tampered hinges. Isolde found herself watching him more than she watched her ministers. He never sat during council, never ate at the feast table. Once, she caught him refilling her water glass with his own hands before a servant could, and she realized, with quiet unease, that he was tasting it first. "You think someone will poison me tonight?" she asked him, amused. "I think someone will try eventually," he said. "Tonight is as good a night as any." He was right. The attack came during the Accord banquet, when the human ambassador and 40 Valeth nobles filled the Hall of Tides with toasts to a war's end. The lights dimmed exactly 3 seconds before the glass dome above shattered, not by accident, but by design, so the fear itself would be a weapon. 6 figures dropped through the wreckage on cables, blades already drawn, moving toward the dais where Isolde stood frozen. Kellen moved first. He crossed the hall in a blur that made 3 centuries of Valeth swordsmanship look like ceremony. The first assassin fell before her feet touched the floor. The second lasted 4 seconds longer. Isolde watched, breath caught, as the quiet man who refilled her water glass became something else entirely, precise, merciless, utterly without hesitation. Draven Kesh dropped last, landing between Kellen and the Queen, blade raised. "Reaper," he said, almost reverent. "They told us you burned at Halvern." "I let them think that," Kellen said. "It was easier than explaining why I stopped." "And now you guard aliens." Draven's mouth twisted. The great Kellen Voss, nursemaid to the ice-blooded. "Now I guard someone worth guarding." Kellen's voice didn't rise. "Put down the blade, Draven." You were the only one of us who ever asked questions before he killed. Ask one now. For a long moment, Draven didn't move. Then Mira Sol, bleeding from a graze along her shoulder, staggered up beside him, weapon lowered. The contract was a lie, Draven. They told us a war criminal guarded the queen.
Not you.
Not the man who pulled me out of the Kesh station fire. Draven's jaw tightened. Around them, Valeth guards finally poured in, spears leveled, but Isolde raised a hand, silencing them all. Let him speak, she said. Draven lowered his blade to the marble floor. The Ashground Syndicate hired us. They want the peace treaty dead before it's signed. It costs them their war profits. We were told nothing about him. He looked at Kellen. I owe you a debt older than this contract. Consider it paid tonight. Isolde stepped down from the dais, standing before the man who had, for 3 silent weeks, tasted her water and memorized her doors. You knew this would happen, she said. You knew they'd send people who recognized you. I hoped they wouldn't, Kellen said. I planned for when they did. Why take this position at all, knowing your past would follow you here? He looked at her, and for the first time, something other than watchfulness crossed his face. Because for 11 years, I only knew how to end wars with a blade. I wanted to guard someone trying to end one with a signature instead. Isolde didn't smile easily, but she did then. Then guard me well, Kellen Voss. The treaty signs at dawn. He bowed, took his post beside the shattered dome, and did not move again until the sun rose gold over the ice spires, and the war, at last, was over.